Welcome to Letters from New Zealand. I am John Jarvis. Some years ago, in the United States, a survey was conducted, the Americans are very good at that, on the major sports of football, baseball, basketball and ice hockey. Their aim was to determine how hard it was to win against a top team 3 times in a row. Because playing any top team 3 times consecutively occurs rarely except in playoffs, the survey had to stretch over several seasons. The results make interesting reading. The chance of winning against the top team once was about 81%. Twice fell to 58%, and thrice 47%. Over the years, I have studied the results in many sports and found good money could be made by betting against those odds. I do not bet because I'm a bad loser. Looking at the men and women's World Football Cups is not easy and beyond the scope of this podcast. Upset losses in the early rounds cloud the issues. Facing top teams 3 in a row occurs in the quarter, semi and finals. Perhaps it would be more rewarding to look at the upcoming World Rugby Club in France next month. As usual, teams can have an easy draw or be in the draw of death. In the past, some top teams have lost in the first round, been shunted into an easier draw to progress into the semis. Some critics wonder if this could be deliberate, strategically scheming coaches, but I doubt the professional players would accept that. South Africa in the last World Cup were beaten in pool play by the All Blacks, but ended up beating England in the finals. England had previously dispatched the All Blacks. In Pool A, New Zealand host France, Italy, Uruguay and Namibia. Pool B, South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, Tonga and Romania. Pool C, Wales, Australia, Fiji, Georgia and Portugal. In Pool D, England, Japan, Argentina, Samoa and Chile. World Rugby Rankings is a system for national teams in rugby union managed by the World Rugby, the sport's governing body. The teams of the World Rugby nations are ranked based on the results of World Rugby. International, or rather points being awarded on the basis. International matches, significant matches, are weighted more heavily to reflect the current competitive state of a team. Introduced in 2003, they were called the IRB rankings. Finally, in an earlier podcast, I mentioned the ridiculous situation of the America's Cup being decided in a courtroom by a judge. Are we in danger of something similar happening in rugby? The Farrell fiasco suggests that we might. Instead of the matter of a high charge being decided by referees on the field, initially a yellow card upgraded to red, appealed by England, who financed a Queen Counsellor who talked the appeal board out of any punishment at all. Now a further appeal by World Rugby has improved, or rather approved, a 4-match suspension. Compare that with a Tonga player facing a similar charge being effectively ruled out of the start of the World Cup. Tonga cannot afford a Queen Counsel. With Eddie Jones calling on former All Black coach Steve Hansen to help the Wallabies, it all sounds familiar. Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe thingy at the bottom and keep in good health.